Welcome to a very special edition of the YOUniverse Podcast. I'm your host, Shanleigh, and I'm always here to give fresh stories, insights, and just little gentle reminders as we navigate this beautiful, messy, and very fleeting life. Today's episode is a Thanksgiving special, a heartfelt conversation about being present, the simplicity that falls within that presence, and of course, the magic of the moments that truly make life worth living. When I think about Thanksgiving and the holiday season as a whole, and even just life when we get caught up in the noise, my mind often drifts back to childhood. It wasn't the big or grand gestures that made the holidays feel special. It was the simple things, just like the simple things with the people we share life with on a day-to-day basis. For example, my grandfather, I always referred to him as my papa. He was a disabled veteran who didn't have much and he lived alone, but that never stopped him from making Christmas feel super magical. Every year, just after my family had opened their gifts, Papa would show up like clockwork, arms full of presents for a second round of gift giving. It was something that I looked forward to, and it was just that moment of joy that felt larger than life, like having my own personal Santa Claus. He also was very good about making sure that my brother and I were a part of the local 40 and 8 holiday events. Now, these events were toy drives, hot meal parties for veterans and their families. The place would be filled with decorations, it would smell of warm, hot food, and the sound of laughter flooded the halls. And I vividly remember the faces of all of these Lone Ranger veterans, men and women, who may have spent the rest of the year alone, smiling from ear to ear as they played the games, and they shared their stories. And for one day, they had that sense of community and enchantment. So I would say that these moments shaped my understanding of true connection and the generosity that we should be having during the holiday season. And then of course there's my mom, a full-time mail carrier, a mother, and a student. She was juggling way more responsibilities than anyone that I had known at the time. And yet, she still managed to make the holidays unforgettable. The kitchen would smell incredible for days leading up to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And my job in that, of course, was slicing the apples and layering them into the pie crust. And that wasn't much, but to me, it felt like I was a part of something big. Something magical, unworldly, if you will. And not to mention, my mother didn't just cook. She made an experience out of this. Every single dish on the table catered to somebody in the family. There was lemon meringue for my brother, apple pie for my dad, coconut custard for my papa, and pumpkin for her and myself. And then she'd go the extra mile even more, baking a cheesy pastry sleeve to deliver to our neighbors on Christmas Eve. How kind is that? She made our house smell like home, feel like love, and reminding everyone around her that joy and connection were what the holidays were all about. So those memories are very special to me because they were rooted in presence and simplicity. But nowadays, it feels like that simplicity is harder to come by. Technology has changed so much about how we live. While it's opened several doors for, I would argue, maybe the middle and lower class families, giving us opportunities that we couldn't have dreamed of, but it's also robbed us of something sacred. It's robbed us of our ability to fully be human, fully present. And I think back to the freedom of my childhood when life wasn't dictated by pings, notifications, and endless to-do lists. Back then, we thrived off of the unknown of where the day might lead. We didn't know who we would cross paths with either. It was just all a mystery, and that made it a little fun and exciting. On any given day, you could find me playing outside, riding my bike, maybe even skateboarding, which I did break my arm doing, knocking on a friend's door to ask, can so-and-so come outside to play? And if they could, it was the best day ever. And if not, you pivoted, you improvised. Maybe you built a fort in the woods and found something else to pass the adventure of time. I was always in the woods being creative. I had an older brother too, so, partially that's why. I was very much a tomboy at that age. But, when we weren't with friends, we were keeping ourselves occupied in those very creative ways. We were drawing, we were painting, Maybe we were dancing around the house with our parents, blasting music while doing those arts and crafts. We were running through sprinklers because we didn't have a pool. Or we were playing tag or manhunt until there was no daylight left. And I think my favorite was when we were using the yellow pages or the phone books to prank call our crushes with the star 67. Life wasn't about instant gratification. It was about connecting with ourselves and our community in a very meaningful way, spontaneously. And now it feels like there's just this constant pressure to be somewhere else, do more, be more, achieve more, to look perfect, to act perfect, to live perfectly curated lives. And in chasing that, we blink and we miss the beauty of what's right in front of us. The joy of waiting for a handwritten letter. The excitement of finally catching up with a friend after a very long summer when you came back for that fall semester for school. Those moments of genuine connection are getting harder and harder to find. So this is where our intentionality comes in. You know, I talk about it all the time, but the change starts when we pause, we reflect, and we decide what we want to reignite within our lives. How do we create that connection and community? How do we feel alive? For me, I've decided that means disconnecting a little bit more. I'm committing to once a week where I take a day to step away from responsibilities and digital devices, where I spend a full day being completely present with my partner, maybe our dogs, or some family or friends, so that on those days, it just like time freezes. And I'll tell you, when you do it, time does slow down in a very good way. And you feel at peace, like you can breathe. Your soul feels lighter. It also means finding joy in little things that channel your inner child. Maybe that's carving pumpkins, walking through neighborhoods that are lit up with Christmas lights, with that warm cup of hot cocoa. Maybe it's buying those cinnamon brooms that make your house smell like the actual season. These small acts breathe life into my spirit, reminding me what's truly important. So this holiday season, I want to challenge you to slow down, embrace the ordinary moments, look your loved ones in the eye, hold their hands, and truly absorb the love that is surrounding you that maybe you're overlooking. Because tomorrow is not promised, so let's make the most of today. Whatever brings you joy, make time for it. Your peace is your greatest gift, and everything else, technology, possessions, achievements, it's all just a bonus. So, as we head into the holidays, let's choose presence over perfection. Let's stop chasing what we're not, and let's start loving who we are. Flaws, quirks, everything. And truly sit down and ask yourself this. What do you want to bring back into your life? Is it playing games with your kids instead of letting them sit there with their tablets? Is it sending handwritten cards to someone that you love, or maybe even those holiday portrait postcards? Maybe it's just taking a simple walk outside where you're breathing in that crisp air and you're just acknowledging what you're grateful for in this beautiful, fleeting moment. This Thanksgiving, let's be thankful for the gift of time, for the people who light up our hearts, and for the moments that we're still creating. So with that, everybody, thank you for spending this time with me. I hope this conversation really does inspire you to slow down, savor the magic of the season. Share your thoughts with me on social media or through email. Email's on my website for an info box, because I'd really like to hear what this means to you. So until next time, take care of yourself, cherish those around you, and remember, presence is the greatest present that you can give. I'll see you next week.